I am Rig, son of the High King Hargurorf, and this is my saga. It all began one fateful day. My father had gathered all his jarls to make an announcement of the utmost importance. We were to embark for the wondrous lands of Northgard. Riches, conquest, and glory awaited us on this mysterious new continent. But the Norns had other plans for us. Dozens of armed men suddenly poured into the hall and put an abrupt end to our ambitions and to our lives. They were mercenaries, led by a man named Hagen from the clan of the Raven. In a matter of minutes, we were all slaughtered like sheep. All but me, barely conscious and vastly outnumbered. I had no way to fight back, so I feigned death. I seethed as he stole the map of Northgard and ripped the regal horn from my father's throne, a family heirloom and the very symbol of our royalty. I had to avenge my father and reclaim my kinghood. I had no strength left when I encountered a group of runaways of the Stag clan, led by a proud young man named Bran. Hagen's men had set his town aflame, and he had nothing left, not even his father, the clan's jarl, who had died at the hands of the fiend, just like mine. Our common enemy had sailed for Northgard, over which he now had a map. All I could think about was finding him to avenge my father and retrieve the regal horn. My companions' eyes were shining with ambition. They were eager to set foot on the untamed lands of Northgard and reap its wonders. But my heart was tormented by a darker appetite. Vengeance. The sons of Heidrun had been shipwrecked on an inhospitable coast, but we arrived just in time to save them from the fangs of the wolves. Halvar, their elderly leader, was so grateful he swore allegiance to me the moment we met. He readily agreed to share invaluable secrets about survival. Soon enough, we would be taming the wilderness. Hagen had eluded us, so Egil left to track him down himself. He was to send for me upon finding him. In the meantime, Bran and Halvar insisted we establish a far-reaching supply network for all our future expeditions throughout Northgard. This would be a war of another kind entirely, one to be fought with gold rather than steel. I just had to focus on the task at hand, waiting to hear from Egil. Egil was a fierce, ruthless man. His relentlessness on the battlefield often made his enemies believe he paid no mind to tactics. Granted, he never planned very far ahead, but he made up for it by adapting to any situation, no matter how complicated. It was a good thing too, because our plan was to raid a raven settlement from the sea, claim it, then launch a punitive expedition against Hagen from there. Liv had taken us all by surprise. Despite our eventful history, I decided to give her a chance to redeem herself. She told us that Hagen was but a pawn, a mercenary hired by a man known as Vedrung. He was the leader of the Boar clan, which was native to Northgard. The mystery behind my tragedy grew, but one thing became clear. This Vedrung was the mind commanding the hand, my father's true murderer. Thanks to Liv, we learned that a small faction had split from the Boar clan and that Vedrung was trying to crush this uprising. If anyone could reveal Vedrung's plans and weaknesses, it was the rebels' leader. I had to meet him. But first, we had to save our potential new ally, besieged by the loyalists. Liv would put her mercenary raids to good use. In a stroke of irony, our former enemy would save our future friend. With a serene face betraying no inner turmoil, Svarn, the rebel boar leader, detailed Vedrung's plan, although I could feel something boiling deep within him. The tyrant intended to destroy Bifrost, the legendary bridge to Asgard, for reasons unknown. But this would bring about Ragnarok, the end of the gods and of our time. Svarn's rebellion existed solely to prevent this. Bifrost lay hidden somewhere deep within Northgard. Svarn hoped to learn more by deciphering the gigantic runestone of Asgard, an ancient frieze said to have been engraved by Odin himself. It was the beginning of a very long journey, and the first step was to cross a region called Jotunheim, the land of giants. As we marched deeper into Northgard, Svarn wondered if the regal horn, the symbol of my royalty, could really be Jallarhorn, Heimdall's famed instrument said to herald Ragnarok. It would make sense. Vedrung had killed my father and stolen my heirloom to end the world. My arch-nemesis gave me all the reasons in the world to hate him. Northgard had already thrown a great many trials at us since we first set foot here. But the one we would encounter next was not of these lands. I had just managed to subdue Borghild and her bear clan on our way to the runestone. They were, like us, from the old continent, but had come ashore in a completely different place. As we neared the runestone, Svarn grew more and more agitated. He confessed to be dreading something that lay ahead, though he couldn't tell what it was. Some of our people were also reluctant to move forward. Northgard was getting harsher and harsher, as if trying to deter us from pursuing our goal. We had finally reached the runestone of Asgard. Whoever Vedrung was, his actions seemed to be foretold by the old scriptures etched in the stone. Svarn translated, "He will want to set the men free from the yoke of the All-Father, for he does not want them to share in his feast, and to this end he will destroy Bifrost." As the wail of Jallarhorn echoes through the skies, the sons of Muspel will march on Asgard. Thus the gods shall meet their fate, and the age of men shall begin, Svarn concluded thoughtfully. There was no map to Bifrost on the runestone, but one stanza read that it was beyond Bergelmir's throat. This was a kenning, a metaphor for the icy cliffs far to the north. As we neared Bergelmir's throat, we were greeted by an eternal winter. Borghild called it Fimbulvinter, and that alone was one of our mightiest foes yet. But as the Norns would have it, something much deadlier than cold and starvation was lurking in the freezing mist. At last, we were reaching our goal. The land where Bifrost had been concealed for eons was peaceful, heavenly even. But as we marched forward, a great indescribable sound shook earth and sky alike. It still echoes through my mind. This was, of course, Gjallarhorn's wail and the beginning of Ragnarok. Vedrung was ahead of us, ready to set the sons of Muspell loose on Northgard. Everything we had done to get here, every life sacrificed, would have been in vain if we failed to stop the tyrant from destroying the legendary bridge. Vedrung was finally in my grasp. He had failed, and we were the victors. Or so I thought. Just as I was about to end his miserable life, Vedrung smiled peacefully, betraying no hint of regret or bitterness. "You are victorious, High King," he said, "but you still arrived too late. Bifrost may still stand, yet the world tree has been shaken to its roots. You think you prevented Ragnarok. I say we are in the midst of it." He went on, "My work here is done. The men may not yet be free from Odin's yoke, but they now know that defiance is an option. This is the dawn of a new era. Do what you will with me, spare me or kill me. It matters not." Why those words pierced my soul, I shall never know. I suddenly lost all will to kill him, realizing how futile it would be. It would never bring my father back, and he was right. Ragnarok was happening. Or rather, it is happening. This is a new era indeed. Our story is not over. It is only beginning. Northgard needs to heal, and we will be here to tend to its wounds. So, this continent we once called untamed and hostile, we shall now call it home. Ragnarok has only just begun.